Alrighty then. Voice looks like it's gone. Welcome back to Pat's Crap 4. Almost positive that's the one we're on. Yes. Pat's Crap 4. Welcome back. It's been 2 weeks. I know. I've been busy with other projects, with classes going on. So I did have to skip 2 episodes. My fault. And I still don't have a guest here. Yet again, my fault. I've been busy. I'll get one eventually, hopefully. I get at least one this semester. You know, I kept on breathing in the mic. You're not supposed to do that when you're on the air. Little tip for anyone who wants to be a radio. Don't breathe into the mic like that. But anyway, I'm back. It's been a little fun 2 weeks. And by fun, it means like the complete opposite of fun, for me at least. Mainly, this is a marketing class I had to do. It's completely outside of my kind of comfort range when it comes down to stuff I do in life. And marketing, I'm not good with money or any kind of public social area. So, not my strongest suit, but you know, that one's a work in progress, so that'll be something I work on. Anyway, welcome back. This is supposed to be the Halloween episode, since it's the last episode before Halloween. But I didn't really have anything prepared. I usually get a guest on the Halloween episode, especially the last semester. I had Halloween. I had my friend Matt with me. He's not here this time, but that's mostly my fault. It's been too weird and too crazy out for me. But Halloween is coming up, which is why I played Halloween by John Carpenter. A great song. Hold up. Did I do this right? It seems like it's fine. Okay. If anyone doesn't know, last show I had 2 weeks ago, we had the like WJTB station lines. That was completely a mistake on my fault. There was something I didn't do in the club that I was supposed to do. But it seems like it's okay now. It seems like it. If it does come up, it's yet again due to my problem with sometimes forgetting to do things. Yet again, my fault. I apologize. But things happen. Can't blame a guy for not knowing how to use technology correctly. No one knows how to use it correctly. Technology is an anomaly. It's not. That's dumb. Don't try to think of wisdomatic. That's not a word. I try to think of like the word wise statements. Don't try to think of wise statements. Don't try to come up at the one. God. See, that's a problem with me. I'm trying to talk, but I can't think of the right words to say. And I run a talk show for about 2 years now. Wow. See, I did it again. Alright, well, let's just move on. Halloween. Halloween's coming up. Everyone's getting their spook on. I'm getting my costume together. It's going to be a great costume. I'm going as Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. Mostly because I saw this one joke online where it was just some guy who was like insane, just like Captain Ahab. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to try to explain it because that would just ruin the entire thing. But if you know what I'm talking about, I know some of you do. You know it's funny. Anyway, the point is there's a song out there as well that is really cool that I don't think I have played on air yet, but I might do that in the future. I don't have a plan for this show because this is the Halloween show. I gotta play Halloween music. That's on the future. I'm gonna check that my recording is working. I forgot to do that. Alright, it is. Oh, yes. And in case anyone hasn't known, I am recording these shows and posting them on my YouTube channel, which is just called Patrick Uni. So if you want to go, if you miss a show and you want to listen to one of my shows, you can do that on my YouTube. Not a lot of people know that, so I'm going to pretty much bring it up at every single show until It's public knowledge. You listen to them in like the background if you're when you're working, or just like helps you like de-stress or disassociate or stuff like that. Just I really want more viewers. I'm not trying to beg here. I just really want some. But yeah, again, Halloween. Here at WJTB, it's kind of like Halloween almost every single day because we have so many. There's like at least, I want to say, we're in the double digits now probably of how many skeletons are decorated around the office. So it's like every day you're seeing spooky things. So it's pretty much Halloween, atmospheric wise. But this is the only time where you get to be spooky outside in public and not just inside. It's the time of the year to watch horror movies, play horror games, and enjoy the FNAF movie that's coming out this Friday, I'm pretty sure. That's something something I talked about last semester a lot was the FNAF movie, and I didn't even talk about it yet this semester, and it's coming out in less than a week. 2 days, actually. I gotta see that eventually. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do that, but I'm sure a lot of people are hyped up for that show. I will say that a couple of people have like talked to me and said like that they're not really that excited anymore now they learned that Markiplier isn't making his cameo anymore. Yes, big news. If anyone didn't know, Markiplier is officially not in the FNAF movie. Oh my god! If you don't know who Markiplier is, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But he was one of the bigger FNAF tubers when it came out. Is that a word? I'm gonna make it a word. He's a FNAF tuber, which means he's known for playing FNAF. Ah, my notification sound is on. I keep on getting emails today. I don't know why. It's all just like random crap. I should have probably turned it off. You see, I am professional and not professional at the same time. I like to keep hit my mic. I like to keep that way. It's just the way things work for me. Anyway, Halloween, it's a fun holiday. It's very fun. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for Halloween Day. I know I'm dressing up. That's definitely what's going to happen. I'm definitely going out in costume. I did have a night class on that day because it's Thursday, and I have night classes on Monday and Thursday. Not Thursday, Tuesday. The 2 weekdays that start with a T. Get me confused. But I was supposed to have a night class, and it's supposed to be like a studio class, so I'm in there for like 3 hours. So I'm not gonna really. I wasn't going to be able to enjoy Halloween night, but now, due to the professor being really nice, he kind of gave us the day off. Not entirely, but pretty much did. So now we're able to go do our Halloween stuff. Not sure, yet again, not sure what I'm going to do. Probably going to go to a bar or something, now that I'm 21. Can legally drink. There's probably something that's going to be happening around campus. Usually the NGIT pub does something. Last year they had a costume contest going on, so that'll probably be something everyone's going to do. I'm probably going to end up somewhere. I usually just wander around on Halloween, just seeing what could happen. I know a lot of people go to parties. I'm not a party person, per se. That being said, I've never really been to a party, so I don't really know if I would be good at a party or not. Probably not, because I'm usually not good at social interactions. Haha. Something I probably shouldn't be talking about, but it's okay. Hit my mic again. It sounds like you get big hands, or big fingers too. You move your hand around, so you hit something. But that'll be something that happens. Halloween. It kind of stinks though, because it's been like a couple of years now, ever since my family stopped doing the, just getting pumpkins and carving them. Listen, it's a fun activity, carving pumpkins is. It can be gross sometimes, but yeah, but it's fun for me. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's whatever. It'd be weird to have a 21-year-old carving a pumpkin anyway. Hey, do you know what I'm talking about? It's not weird. It's just fun. I'll probably end up getting a pumpkin eventually. Hopefully this weekend I can catch a pumpkin and put it in front of my dorm. Can't light it, obviously. They don't allow open flames in JT dorms, other than they have ovens in there. I don't know, but NJT logic is in like the air when it comes to stuff. I'm contemplating if I want to go on break or I just want to keep on going, because I did start this show kind of late. That was due to some other situation. Well, not dire situation, but just it happens. I might wait. I'll do like another like 10 minutes. But moving on from Halloween, because I already talked about Halloween enough. God knows. A couple other things that happened this week. I don't know. I don't have the best stories at the moment or best things to talk about because I've been completely overwhelmed with projects. I mean, yesterday I pretty much pulled off a whole 5-hour work period working on one project. Who knew that applying textures to objects would take so long? So, not the most things to talk about, but I do have a couple of things. Right off the bat, I finally watched the Ahsoka show that is on Disney Plus. And if enough people here listening know me, I'm a really big fan of Star Wars. Have been since I was a kid. Not such the biggest fan of Disney Star Wars, because there's a lot of things that Disney does with Star Wars that a lot of people hate, including myself. I mean, the sequels were just absolute crap, other than the first one. A lot of people give me some... Well, some people give me some crap for this, but the first movie, Force Awakens, Star Wars Force Awakens, not terrible. I mean, when you compare it to the other two, it's significantly better, but not even close to being as good as some of the original 6. But anyway, the point is, Disney Star Wars has been weird. I mean, the third season The Mandalorian was a disappointment. Book of Boba Fett was a disappointment. There's only been really 2 or 3 shows on there that have been actually, I would consider, great and possibly up to the standard of regular Star Wars. Bad Batch obviously is one of my favorites of the collection they have on there, because that one, it just reminds me a lot of Clone Wars, so why not enjoy it? Although there is some aspects of Rebels there too. Rebels is another good show though. Another good Disney property. The first 2 seasons of Mandalorian were obviously good. Andor was good. But like the other stuff, not really that good. But Ahsoka actually was, I would say actually it was a good show. Now it doesn't live up to the rest of the Star Wars stuff out there, obviously, because it's hard to kind of live up to like what people consider like a masterpiece. But it's just enough. It's just enough there where it's actually enjoyable. I mean, the villain, there was the main villain who actually seems like a villain this time, not just some like twist villain or something like that. Ahsoka's good as a character. They bring back Anakin. I think he was in the trailer, so hopefully that wasn't a huge spoiler. But if you're not, you've probably seen a clip already. And by bring back, I mean he's not back from the dead, obviously. But what else? It's just, I mean, they got David Tennant in there, man. They got Doctor Who. He plays a robot. Kind of funny. But actually, that's something I didn't notice about the original Clone Wars series. That actually the clone that's in that series was in Clone Wars and also was still voiced by David Tennant. Didn't know that. That was something that was interesting to me, though. Probably not a huge revelation to you, but for me, it was interesting to know. But the show was actually genuinely good. If it's one thing though that it's more closely related to the Star Wars Rebels. I got notifications left and right. It's more closely related to Rebels and not the Clone Wars. So that's, I mean, it's a disappointment because, you know, that's where Ahsoka was from. But it's also the fact that Rebels hasn't been really built upon since it was ended in, like, how long ago? I want to say like 5 years ago it pretty much ended. 5 to 7, give or take. And it's really just, it kind of ended there, other than some other stuff, such as bringing back some characters left, but not really building off the main story. So it's cool that they finally brought back Rebels as the story. Now, when Rebels was being made, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, mostly because I wasn't a huge fan of how the style or how they animated it. I mean, come on, those lightsabers are way too thin whenever they built it, and it just seemed a bit weird whenever I saw it. But it's still, the storyline is really good. And genuinely, like, the fact that they actually brought in one of the coolest villains in Rebels, Thrawn, I mean, that makes the show pretty much one of the coolest Star Wars shows out there. Shows, not movies. The movies still pretty much outbeat. The original movies, yeah. The original movies pretty much beat anything that's been created since. But at the same point, it's a good show. Moving on, because I don't want to talk about Star Wars all the entire time. I don't really have any other topics before break, so just ramble on for a bit. I haven't talked about the weather this entire time being on the air, even though there's only been 3 episodes. Skipped 2 weeks. My fault. But the weather's been fine, mostly. It's been, you know, it's starting to get colder, obviously. Trees are starting to get more brown, leaves-wise. It's still actually quite nice out, though. I mean, it's not like it's freezing out. It doesn't get really freezing out until, like, mid-November, really. But it's still, like, I wouldn't say even Halloween chilly yet. But it's cold out. You know, it's time to put on a jacket when you go outside, pretty much. Can't wear a t-shirt anymore, nor can you wear shorts. Although I still see people doing that. Not judging, just, you know, it's cold out, so I don't understand how they can stand that. In fact, there was one point where I was walking home from my high school one year, and it was really snowing, like really badly snowing, and there was traffic everywhere, so... Oh, that's paused the thing, my bad. Pressed the spacebar by accident. Like I said, big hands. But it was really snowing. And there was so much traffic around that there was no one able to pick me up. I was like probably 17 at the time, so couldn't drive. No, so you were able to drive. Okay, no, I was like 15 at the time, so yeah, like I said, couldn't drive. But I basically was already willing to walk home, so I walked home through all that. I had a really big jacket on, so I was hopefully able to make it back before it got too bad because that was a cold walk. My legs started getting numb a bit when I was walking home. But I was walking near an intersection at one of the streets, and there was just this one guy who was walking through the snow wearing shorts. And I'm not like I said, I'm not judging if you're wearing shorts during the cold, but if you're wearing shorts during like a snowstorm, how do you even pull that off? Now, granted, we were right next to a 7-Eleven, so this guy maybe just walked like a block to the 7-Eleven and didn't want to go through the effort of having to change. But even if you're inside during like the winter, would you ever be wearing shorts? Because I don't. Granted, I don't really wear shorts in general, but I mean, if you're wearing like sleepwear, maybe, but I'm not gonna try to answer my own question. That's for you guys to answer. Just confuses me. Anyway, I'm gonna go on my first break, even though it's kind of late. Here, you can pause for a second. So, my first break song is going to be, because this is Halloween, there was one song in my childhood that really terrified me, and that was "They're Coming to Take Me Away" by Napoleon XIV. Actually scared me when I was a kid. Doesn't scare me anymore, but did actually scare me. So, enjoy the song. Right. We're back. That was a very short song. I forgot how short it was, huh? Anyway, welcome back. It's good that actually we had a short song because short breaks means I can make up for the time I missed. Right, making sure that all the recording is working. Looks fine. Why is there... That's probably something different. Okay, we're good. I had to make sure my recording is working because I want to actually be able to post this on YouTube. Anyway, we're back. Hit the mic again. Always hitting the mic. Always fun. I wanted to talk about a really interesting topic that I found last week. Now, there has been a new thing going around. There's been I don't know how to introduce this. My introductions are lacking right now. But anyway, there's a new animation that came out. It was called The Amazing Digital Circus. And it's on YouTube. It's free to watch. But the thing is that with that, I watched that myself. And the only reason I even knew about this to begin with is because there is this... While I was going through Instagram, like, back over the summer, I would always occasionally see this one guy who is, like, notorious... not notorious, but, like, he's... posts a lot about 3D animation, and he was talking about like, oh, I'm working on this new project, and he check out some like the new clips I created, and there were little intro clips for each of the characters in the animation. And I saw them, and I started going through them. I was like, oh, it seems interesting. And eventually, it just kept on popping up. That I was like, all right, guess I'm following this now. And I just found out that last week, I think around not 2 weekends ago, is when they released the final animation. And I went to go check it out, and actually it's really good. The animation is actually really nice looking. The storyline, it's funny. It's relatively interesting. Voice acting is really good on the show. The music is well done. The music is actually made by a YouTube creator. It's pretty well known. I think her name is like Gooseworks or something like that. You may not know it, but it's the animation. It's really nice looking. Actually, it's like one of the best looking 3D animations I've seen in a very long time. That's even saying with like actual theater releases of 3D animation, because 3D animation is such an underlooked media when it comes to anything, TV shows, movies, all that stuff, especially and mainly in America, because you get everyone trying to do live action shows, because live action is the drama. It's where the reality kicks in. But I feel like we get too stuck on live action stuff. That I've just a few days ago I heard that Warner Brothers canceled a DC and Mortal Kombat crossover show. And at first I was like, oh, why would they cancel it? And then they said it was going to be a live action show. Why would they do that? I know from a personal standpoint that Warner Brothers, that DC media and Mortal Kombat media, even though there hasn't been a lot of Mortal Kombat media, really does a good job embracing the animation. I mean, we had DC itself had the Batman animated show, Superman animated show. They had a ton of movies out there that were all animated, and they're underlooked because they're animated, obviously. But each and every single one of those media I've seen from DC is ton better than any of the movies they came out with, the live action movies. And the only reason why I think that these are underlooked compared to the live action movies. Why not pause? Oh no, is because they're animated instead of them being live action. Why is it? What's the difference between doing live action and doing animated? That where live action is seen as like the best it could be, while animated it's seen as like, oh, it's less. It's not. It's actually, I think there is more work to be put into an animation than there is to make an actual live action. Now, there is a lot to do for either one. I'm not saying that either is like lacking. I'm just saying that animation, from a personal standpoint, from how I've seen animation done, each pose and each action that each character has to go through has to be animated through a program and stuff. When you're recording live action, yes, you have to make sure every action is correct, but it's a person who can just easily just put your arm out, just like that, like throw a punch. You can easily do that by just telling an actor to throw a punch, and maybe there's a specific way to do it and all that kind of stuff. But you can just, if you ask somebody to throw a punch, they can throw a punch like that. Now, when it comes to animation, you now have your character being on a digital platform. You tell them, oh, you got to throw a punch. You have to. Each action has to be specifically like posed from using the program. So I feel that there is more work to be put into an animated thing. So, getting off point, but the amazing digital circus. I would recommend that you could check it out yourself. You don't have to, obviously. It's not like it's a command of mine. I can't command anybody really. But it's out there. It's free. It's like 28 minutes long, I believe, and it's just a fun watch. So I don't see why you wouldn't watch it. It's like a 13 plus animation, so it's not like it's gonna be like rated R, blood and stuff. It is. Now I'm gonna be perfectly careful with this because there's a lot of backlash about this animation. Not because it's an animation. That's something completely different that I'm talking about. But there's rather the thing about it was created by Glitch, and it's been, Glitch Animation, and it's been kind of put in the same group as other YouTube animations, and a lot of them have out there fandoms. Now, I'm not saying they're bad fandoms, I'm just saying they're out there. They're different from other fandoms. And a lot of people are against these kind of fandoms, saying that it's like, oh, they're bad, they're cringy. And just the entire fact that this animation is grouped together with the rest of these animations that have these fandoms, people are instantly against this because it's like, oh, this seems too much like this animation that has a cringy fandom, and so I don't like this because it's going to get a cringy fandom based off what I think. Now, I'm not saying people can't have negative responses to things, but at the same point, it's only been about 2 weeks since it's come out. Now, you could be one of those people who out there who think like, oh, this is kind of cringy and not really it for me. And it's perfectly fine, you know. Different things are more to people's different tastes and all that stuff. People are different. Basic point. But I'm just pointing out, it's a really good 3D animated, free kind of show. It's enjoyable. I actually was laughing at some of the bits in it. Not out there laughing, but I found them quite amusing. It's not one of those like stupid like goes way too much into the creepiness. Sometimes YouTube animations. Now I'm not gonna say there isn't like the dark because I just messed up my entire wording. But there's a lot of YouTube animations out there who go down like the dark and creepy trend and theme, and they like to think themselves like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm so creepy, I'm so scary, and they're less than really that. They're kind of dumb looking, actually. Like, such as like the amount of mascot horror games coming out these days. And it could be the same as this, and it is very closely reminiscent of mascot horror, which can be cringy at times, but I feel like the like whatever horror aspect they wanted to go for with the final animation isn't really strong enough in order to completely completely like overwhelm the animation. It's more of just, I feel like it's more about like a dark comedy rather than a just horror show or something like that. It is a bit out there. Not gonna, just fair warning if you are gonna watch it, but they put a lot of work into it, and it looks really good. The animation looks fantastic from my standpoint. From being an actual animator myself, the animation looks fantastic. So I would just, just shouting it out. It's a good show. I keep on saying, you know. I'm getting a lot of notifications coming in. Anyway, I gotta take a drink of water. Moving on, I'm gonna get into some other topics. I want to talk about the Pokemon trading card community, because there was 2 weeks ago when I was writing this, I went to a kind of like old video game store. And not literally like as the game store is old. I'm talking about like it's a store that sells older video games that you usually wouldn't find at like a GameStop or online shopping. So it's an entire store known for that. It has a ton of like figurines and stuff. The nerdy person's paradise, basically. I went to one of these stores with my brother because he wanted to go sell his Pokemon cards he's been holding on to for years now. And I went in there, and I didn't go up to the desk with him in order to sell these Pokemon cards. I was looking elsewhere, but I was overhearing some of the things the person who was looking at them was saying, and I gotta say, some of the things he was saying was completely outrageous. Now, I get it, trading and collective cards is a big market out there, and any kind of like slight thing can ruin the price and quality of the object. But some of the things I've overheard, and some of the things that make no sense to me, obviously they make no sense to me. One of the main things I overheard was the fact that the slightest bit of damage on one of these cards could completely have half the price. Now, it could be like the smallest scratch on the corner of a plain blue outline of the card, and that will be turned like a $50 card into like a $10 card or something like that. I'm just thinking, it's a rare card, right? It's a rare card. There's very little of these cards there, and that's where the price comes in. And I get it, there's like the quality, but why is it lowered by so much because of a small crease or crack? It's a rare card. And I told this to my brother, and he was saying like, yeah, it's weird. I mean, you could take a card directly from the factory, and people will still say there's damage to it. I want to say that there was like, he was talking about something about there being like levels to each card, and there was like a level to how much damage it could have. But it was so weird. And there was another really weird statement. I want to say the shop owner. I don't know if he actually owned the shop, but he was working the desk. And there was another really weird statement he said. But he was talking about that something about like a golden card, and I guess there was like golden cards of like the players you could play as in the trading card game. And I don't get it myself. I didn't really see the cards myself, Well, he was talking about like, yeah, these golden cars are completely worthless unless they're a chick. And he said that dead, straight face. And I don't know what the hell. Why? I mean, do you feel? I mean, if I said that to out in public to a person who I didn't know, I would feel a tiny bit embarrassed. And it could be completely out of his control. That could be just the Pokemon trading card community. I mean, there is a lot of weird people out there. But the entire fact that they're more expensive if they're a chick. I don't know why I used that word twice. If they're a woman, if they're a female playing card, it's more expensive. That just seems dumb to me. I'm not gonna bring up the whole sexuality about it. I'm just saying that like it's just weird. It's just weird. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. But it's just weird. But it just seems like the entire trading card community is just really, really demanding, and sometimes can seem and sound unreasonable. They may or may not be reasonable or unreasonable. I'm not sure. It's all about their personality. But it just seems like when it comes to these cards, it just seems dumb. Like, there was one card he had where there was a crease on the back. Barely even noticeable. It was so unnoticeable that the guy didn't see it until the second time he looked at the card. And that was lowered by half. It was a tiny crease. A crease. There was no damage to the picture. The only thing that was damaged was maybe the card structure, and not by that much. It just seems so outrageous to me. And the fact that people will buy these cards in bulk and just raise the price to way too much. It's too much. And it's good to have a hobby. But if you're doing that much, it's just too much. And now it sounds like I'm criticizing people. I'm not criticizing. I'm not trying to criticize anyway. It just seems a bit weird to me. In any case, I'm going to go on my second break early, just because I missed out on a few times. I'll come back with some more topics. I don't have a lot written down. Well, I don't have enough written down, but it's lacking a bit, so I'm trying to find the perfect stuff. But, sticking to the Halloween, I'm going to be playing the main title from the Beetlejuice movie by Danny Elfman. It's a good song, so let me get that already up and enjoy the song. Right, we're back. Very short breaks this week. Very short breaks. Make up for the 2 weeks I missed. Anyway, that was the main theme from Beetlejuice, the movie by Danny Elfman. I know it's an out there song to play as a break song, but it's Halloween. We're gonna do things a bit differently. And I think I forgot to mention the last song, but I was just gonna write real fast that the last, not this music break, but the before the music break was "They're Coming to Take Me Away" by Napoleon XIV. In case you missed it. But we're going to be moving on to our next topics. Talking about our next thing, I'm going to keep on talking about this game store, because there was one specific thing that was my job when I was going to this game store, and that was to find an old Xbox game called Shrek Super Party. And it is for the original Xbox, not the 360, not the one, the original. And it was a Shrek Party game, meaning like it's Mario Party, but it was the Shrek characters. And I remember as a kid, we had this game, and then our Xbox broke, and it just disappeared. and we were never able to play the game again. And I was trying to find the game, and so we can play it again, even though we don't have a original Xbox. I feel like that's a console that no one really talks about enough. Is that this is the original Xbox? I mean, you got the first Halos on there. You got a lot of cool games on there. And that was one of the original consoles, man. That was before internet, or at least before the internet went to the console area. Pretty sure, at least. There might have been a tiny bit of internet, but not a ton. Now, not at the level we have right now, where it's like crossplay and all that stuff. But that was a better time for gaming, for me at least, because you didn't have to worry about a toxic community. You didn't have to worry about how good you are at the game. You just enjoyed the game. Yeah, I'd like to know that, like, or I like to point out that after like a year or two after not playing the game for a while, I saw this one YouTube commentary about it, and they were like dragging this game in the dirt. Like, I'm talking about, like, this game is not fun, it's repetitive, it's boring. I mean, who could enjoy this game? And I was just thinking back all of the times where me and my family just kept on playing this game almost every day. And of all games you can have in your childhood, the one you remember is a Shrek Super Party game. You take what you can get, you know what I mean? And sometimes you get more great memories from enjoying the game. But anyway, the entire fact is that even though I figured out after the fact that this game may not be the greatest, I still wanted to get a new copy so I could play it again. I also forgot to check if the recording is still working. The recording seems it's still working, so we're good. I really wonder how much people actually know about the game, because it's not really a very memorable game. I mean, when you think of like a party game, oh shoot, stupid desk. When you think of like a party game, you think of like Super Mario Party. You think of like the one for the GameCube, I think is like the most famous, and then they get some other ones here and there, but not a ton. And then you get the one for Shrek. And I also like to point out that there's when you're playing the game, you get like the regular like Shrek characters. Like you have Shrek and stuff. You have Fiona, you had Donkey, you had a couple of other like the main cast. But then you had some like characters who only showed up for like one scene of the original movie and never showed up again. Like you had Robin Hood from the first movie, where he was in that one fight scene, got decimated, and he was one of the main cast. And then you also had what's his name? Felonious, which is the executioner for who was hired by Farquaad, who I think only had like maybe 5 minutes completely in the movie. He was a favorite of character in there. Like if you got to play as Fiona, I can't say words right. If you got to play as Felonious, but if you got to play as him, you got the cool character, man. He was the one character everyone wanted to play, but only one could play him. Fun song. But can't really talk about that for much longer, so I'm gonna move on. Talk about some other stuff. Now I am getting down to the point where it's kind of dying down on the topics. These are the last three, so I usually leave these last three for kind of just, here and there topics. Something you don't really, not anything crazy going on, but it's just, something that pops up in my mind. There is one class I'm taking this semester, which is a history of architecture class. And of course it's talking a ton about architectural styles and stuff. And I was thinking while I was taking this class, I was thinking like, what is really the best type of architecture that can be out there? Because we all have like our own biases when it comes to architecture, and I don't understand why so many architects are like diehard modern architecture fans with like what's the thing? In the oh god, what's the word? I just took the exam last week. What was the word? There's a international style. That's it. International style. That is the style you see on most like modern skyscrapers, where it's just those ribbon windows. Yeah, it's supposed to have stilts, but I don't know how much skyscrapers have stilts. Just a ton of them. Ribbon windows. Ribbon windows are not like actual. Well, they're like ribbons of windows, but not as in what you imagine ribbons would be. It's literally just like a flat plane of window that kind of stretches across a wall, and it keeps it continuous. It's like a continuous wall of window. I'm trying to think. They had open spaces, all kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that go in the architecture that a lot of people think like, why? What does that mean? A lot of deeper philosophy when it comes to architecture. And I don't know why there's so much philosophy in architecture. But I guess it's just people who want to make their art seem more thoughtful or something like that. Should go drink water. But for me, when it comes down to like what's the best type of architecture, I don't really know. Architecture is too weird of a situation going on anyway. Too much modern architecture, but I think the best is probably like the old like Gothic type. I mean, I know a lot of people like Victorian, but Gothic is just where it's at. But architecture is a boring topic to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about that much longer. I just thought I would talk about it because I'm taking a class about it, and you know, when you're looking at it from like an outsider standpoint, it's kind of boring. And I understand it. I mean, architecture is like kind of a boring thing to really talk about. But when you're looking really deep into it, there can be some interesting aspects, and there are some really dumb aspects of just adding so much philosophy in architecture. When it's just like a building, it could be like a council, not it could be just a regular like bathroom or council building. Buildings that no one really cares about, and yet architecture will think like, I put the space out there and made it larger to add to the embodiment of the building. Little too like of those like artsy people who like to think their art is so thoughtful and so in depth and stuff. Too much for me. I mean, I'm trying to learn from it, but it's just the entire fact that like international style is a style that exists, and people generally think that that is a good style to make your architecture. Oof. Other topics to talk about. You may be wondering why I wasn't here for last 2 weeks. And that's mostly because I do the projects, but there was another thing that kind of popped up that really made it so I wasn't able to do this at all. Like it was impossible in order to do this show, and that was that my laptop broke. Well, not my laptop broke. The charger for my laptop broke, which made it so I wasn't able to really use my laptop unless it would run out of battery, and I wouldn't be able to use it. Now, not a huge deal, but when we were at a campus with no way to buy a new charger, and you have no car in order to get a new charger, it was a bit of a worry for me. But it broke last Tuesday, so like a week ago. It was when it finally just gave out. And before that, it was kind of showing its kind of history and oldness, where it was like sometimes I would plug it in and wouldn't charge right away, and I had to move things around until it finally charged. But like when I tried to plug it in on Tuesday, it was not working. So that's something I had to fix, and I had no way to fix it with the wire itself, because the wire was already, to me, it was broken. I mean, it was unusable, so I had to get a new one. So I had I ordered. Well, I had people help me out and order a new wire for this for the computer, and that wasn't. And when we ordered it, it wasn't going to come in until Thursday of that week. And so Wednesday, I would have to go through without a laptop, which usually you think like, oh, it's fine. You're just not going to have a laptop for a day. That's it. But when you're at a campus and have projects really pushing down on you and you have to get it done fast, it can be a bit scary. Now, luckily for me, I had a secondary computer because I have a studio where I have to have a desktop computer. So I did have a way to order to get online and do work. The problem arose when the only time I could do the work was when I was in the studio because I can't just carry around a desktop computer everywhere. It's too heavy, too much as well. So when it came to like classes and other stuff, I wasn't able to really take notes or really be online. Now, luckily for me, it mostly happened on Wednesday, so I didn't have to worry about too much classes. So I only have really one class on a Wednesday. But when it came to this show, because I have the main computer where this is being streamed from, but I always have my other computer right next to me, so I have the script always there. I have it recording. I have the just a way in order to get research if in case I want to talk about something. It's just there to be a convenience item. But the entire fact that if I don't have a script with me, that may be a problem. And I could put a script up on my phone, but I did that like 2 years ago, and it just caused problems and distractions for me. So I like it better that it's on my laptop. And the script isn't really like, you know, a big script. It's mostly just number of topics, but you know, can't remember 9 topics and at least 3 outro, or not outro, but intro break music and stuff. So it was just a bit a thing. And a little tip for people who may get their computer charger broken in the future: just get like a backup or like like a spare charger just in case. I believe if you get, give me a second. Oh, that came out of nowhere. I believe if you get a phone charger, like a USB-C charger, and you get a plug block that is at least the right amount of wattage that fits your computer, you could charge your computer. Depends on which one you have. That's the whole situation. But I had it where my computer was able to charge using a USB-C, but because my block only really had 5 watts and I needed my actual charger was 170, it wasn't charging. In fact, if you do have 5 watts on your block, you probably should not plug it in. Don't follow me, I don't know technology. But the broken computers around, not really broken computer, broken charger, keep on saying that. My fault. It's the whole thing. But last Wednesday actually was quite nice because I actually went out and get some drinks with some a person I know. So that was a fun event, and I was able to work on a couple of other projects to get things done. But I'll tell you, I was not doing well this time last week. So emotional wise, there was a lot going on, but I got through it. Mostly. It's not done yet, but I got through the tough part. But the really tough things that have been happening for me is the fact that I am getting too much headaches these days. And I have no way to cure them. And I don't want to talk about it a ton because it's a boring topic to talk about anyway. But I have this weird situation where if I eventually, I don't even know the exact cause, but I would just be sitting there suddenly, and then slowly I would start feeling like an annoyance in my head. It wouldn't be noticeable a ton, but it would be there. And then eventually it would just grow to the point where it's just like a straight out headache. And I can't, like when those happen, I can't work, I can't think. I literally just, it completely stops my thought process. I can't look at a computer. I can't wear headphones. It's just a whole really bad situation I get into, and it happens twice a week. I want to say, not twice a week, twice a month. So they're not scary, but it's enough where they're tough. Anyway, I mean, that's usually how headaches work. I mean, obviously, if you stare at a computer too long, you usually will get a headache, and it will cause you to do, thinking will be tough, and being able to work will be tough. But for me, it's just like the entire fact that they happen, and no matter if I take pain meds or if I drink water, take outside, get a deep breath, all those situations won't cure it until I go to sleep. So that's weird enough for me that it's something I'm slightly concerned about, but not a huge concern. But who wants to hear me talk about headaches all day? Take another drink of water. In any case, I'm thinking I'm going to end this show. Only because I'm starting to get a little bit tired. And I'll be back next week. I will have something. Hopefully a guest. Or maybe a fun activity. I don't know. Work in progress. Unless something big pops up, at which point I will notify on my Instagram that I won't be having the show. But this show hopefully will happen next week. I do have the recording of this show, this specific show that I'm doing right now. I will be posting on YouTube. So if you want to re-listen, or if you just want to have like a friend of yours or a person you know missed the show and wants to listen to it, it's on the YouTube. It'll probably be up by the end of this week, hopefully. It's not too much work to put it on there, but it's enough where I don't want to do it right off the bat. Anyway, end the show here. I want to thank everybody for listening. Obviously, this isn't the listener group numbers on the show isn't high. I don't mind it, but anyone who does listen in is great, because I really appreciate people listening and taking their time to just listen to my dumb radio show. Because I'm passionate about the show. I really wanted it to be successful. So anyone listening in, great. Also tell your friends about the show, or about WJTB. We're trying to get a listener count higher. You don't have to, but it would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I wish I could go on longer, but I'm just really getting tired, and I really need to do some other things. So that'll be something I have to work on today. Tell you, projects are tiring, man. Anyway, the song for the outro is called Koinyatsky. It's an experimental song that I decided to put on here. It's not experimental theme-wise, not genre-wise, but experimental as it's different from other songs I'll play on the show. But it's by Philip Glass. So if you know who Philip Glass, you would know what to expect. I think it's from a movie as well, but I haven't seen it. But it's a interesting song, and you might enjoy it. So I guess it's experience. And I'll be here next week, hopefully. I'll see everybody next week. Or you'll hear me. Haha.